Okay, so we are off and running now. We've got our intros out of the way. I've gone over the syllabus. I want to get into the shell now so that we're all, literally on the same page with what is due. And I realize that I have been a little remiss in updating some of the assignments. We'll hold off on the final project for now. We've done the class introduction. You've completed exercise 1 and 2? Okay, so that's behind us. Let me just take a look at this really quick. Okay, exercise 1 and 2. Let's take a look at that because no one has submitted anything. Oh, you handed it in, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it just hasn't, okay, so that's been handed in. Okay, so I'll talk to Lee about that. Okay, good, okay. Super.
So, do you want us to submit things online, and if so, how do we do that?
I'll let you know ahead of time. It's usually pretty simple. If you noticed, sorry, I'm going to work on names here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chris, right?
Pat.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. 1, 2, so, sorry, Anthony, Kimber, Justin, okay, Pat, and there's Chris. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so what I was able to do there, Pat, on the, on the two things I uploaded, let's just make sure they're there.
So if we're drawing something,
Yeah, there'll be a couple ways. I mean, one thing, if like say you're not here to hand it in, I mean that's fine. I'll just take a hard copy of it. But I would also be fine if you took a picture of it and then just dragged it into the shell. So I got these two items just by.
Picture with the rulers, so that, for like the letters, they have to be to a certain scale.
Yeah, that would, yeah, absolutely. And I thought what we might do today, when we go over the, just catch up, is do a little bit of drawing by hand, and then what I'd really like to do is take pictures of it and send that to some OCR software, just send it to some optical character recognition software, because, I think what we're seeing more and more of is just the digitization of everything. And so I'd like to see if your handwriting can be read by a computer or not. So we'll do that. Okay. So we're all set on that. Text for assignment 1. And you got through the creativity sketch? Was it where you're sort of describing something? Okay. That must have been kind of fun. I wish I was here for that. Okay. So we are in week 2. Week 1 is behind us. Have you gone over the alphabet of lines at all yet? Has that been a little bit? Let's just take a look. Let's just take a look. This really is the bread and butter.
He did.
You got that? Okay.
He did show that.
Okay.
It wasn't explained.
Yeah. Well, so here's I cannot help but look at this diagram and think back to my own experiences. This was in college. It was my sophomore year in college. I was taking Introduction to Design, course 270 at MIT. I had this Romanian professor, and he kept saying, thick black lines, thick black. So, like, seriously, every single day, all I would hear is thick black lines. The thick black lines are really there to show your audience exactly what this thing would look like if if you were looking at it in real life. So here's your white paper. Here's a nice big thick black line, and you can tell that's that's a headset. If the line is not thick enough, it's just not as easy to see. So 0.6 millimeters. If you're using a 0.2 millimeter lead, you're going to have to draw it 3 times. So go out and buy, and I think, right here, got one right here. These are my favorite. I've got a 0.9 millimeter pencil. My daughter always steals them, uses them for art, but so it's amazing I have one. The 0.9 is going to be sufficient. And obviously, the harder you press, the thicker the line gets, but you're never going to get it any wider than the pencil itself. So, 0.6 is a guideline. If it's 0.9, there's no problem with that either. Hidden line, here are the dimensions. So 3/100ths of an inch between the dashes and 12/100ths of an inch dash. And that's the tolerance. And then the approximate width is 0.3. So it's half the width of the thick one. And this is pretty obvious. Just see, you've got a little part here, keyhole, shaft. The center lines, one thing you should definitely notice about these center lines is that it's dashed, short dashes, then long bars, and the draftsman has actually drawn this in such a way that the top view and the side view line up, and they should. And he's used a single line to connect the two. Section line, a little thinner, the dimension is not given, but you can see this is to show the portion, well, if you cut the thing in half, here's the air and here's the metal. That's the section line. If you had different portions of the section, you might see dashes in different directions. If you had different materials, you might even see different patterns inside there. But for now, one material, one set of section lines. The center line, as you notice, is still there. Symmetry, a line of symmetry is just to show that this thing has reflective symmetry. Same, you flip it over. Here's an example of symmetry. Looks the same in the front, looks the same on the back. Reflective symmetry. Dimension line, it's a little thinner, and the whole point of the dimension line is it's not taking center stage. You can see that these thick lines are still the outline of the main part. Dimension line has a portion that's missing or blanked or whited out. In general, and there's different techniques for doing this. In general, you might make that dimension line first, and then erase wherever the dimension is going to go in. Sometimes a little easier, or if you want to skip the erasing part, draw this in, write your numbers in, and then continue with the line. Another strategy I've seen, it's tricky though, would be to just start your dimension lines, to get a draft of them, and then come back. It's always better to just draw the thing once. I mean, it's never going to happen in an ideal world. You're always going to go back and do a little bit of erasing. But if you can just draw that line once, first, right, the first time, perfect. I'm sure the textbook is also going to talk about doing some finer sketching first, then coming back and going over it. So 2 times at a maximum would sort of be a goal for touching your pencil to the paper on any given location. Okay. Cutting plane lines, so this again is a section. These are at least as thick as your thick black lines again, and it's going to say, hey, I'm going to whack right through the part here. This is what it looks like. Who would have guessed that that's a plus sign from where you were? But there it is. The section line says I'm going to cut right through this, and there are my section lines and my center lines. Short break line. This is freehand. Long break line. You've probably seen these before. Looks like a little heartbeat or a pulse signal. These are freely drawn by hand. It's just to show, well, in this part, rather than draw the whole part again, I'm going to show, a face portion and then a portion that's sectioned, and this is to say, hey, I've sort of made a gash through the part. Phantom line, it's just showing, if you're doing machine design, imagine you're building drawing a bicycle, and you want to show that crank arm moves, or you're designing a locomotive engine and you've got cams and parts moving. Well, here it is at one position, same part in a different position. stitch lines and dash lines. I am going to have, oh, well, those might be just as simple as they are. It could just be that you've got a part where two pieces of fabric are sewn together. That's my guess on that. I'm not as familiar with the stitch lines. And then a chain line, that's going to be the center line of where a chain might move around a part. Looks a lot like a center line, it's just thicker and shows path. Okay, so that's about it. That's pretty simple. I can't think of too many more. I cannot think of too many more. All right, so I assume this has not been turned in yet, correct? Okay. Okay. So let's take a look. Read chapter 2 before class. And again, did anybody actually read all of chapter 2 before class? Some, maybe not. I'll cut you a break on this because I wasn't here. But let's just take a look at this assignment 3, just getting through the. Okay, so nobody's turned these guys in yet.
Were you supposed to draw those lines?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be. Well, let's
Use copy page 20.
well let's think of something a little more creative than that. Let's just think of something a little more creative than that. Here's a drawing. What I'd like to do is just find something to draw that uses all the lines rather than copying pasting. I think that's going to be a little more.
What if we've already
Done. What do you have? Let me see. Oh, okay. That's fine.
That's what I did last class.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, the only thing I might recommend on that is just dating it. Yeah, that's an account I would add that. Well, so let's just say if you copy the alphabet of lines, that's fine. I'm not going to catch up. If you want to do a little bit more, and again, I don't know. I'm just thinking back to my own days in school, and I would like you to do more than just the minimum in this course. It's really not just about hopping over whatever bar I set for you. I mean, that's fine. I'll give you the grade, but I would much rather see you get creative with this stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, just turn that in and you're done because you've copied the alphabet. But I think the next thing to do would be to get some graph paper. Anybody not have graph paper yet? So grab some graph paper. The line paper's fine. The blank paper is okay. Until we bust out the T-squares, I think we'll be able to do that. I mean, these tables are set up in such a way. We'll get the T-squares out. We'll get the triangles out. We'll get the tape out. But until we've got the all that set up, the graph paper is going to be your best friend there. So you don't have to.
Does it matter or score? I don't know. This
Yeah.
looks kind of big.
No, I think that's a quarter-inch square. I think what Todd has back here is a quarter-inch square. That's pretty standard. I would go with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think the lines is 8.
Oh, does it? Okay. I feel pretty confident that if you're using quarter-inch squares, you can estimate where the eighths are, or even just go in and draw in your eighths. So, if you got the quarter, you can build your own eighth pretty easily. So.
Right. What seems like you're talking about last
Eighths? Eight seems,
Water into the eighth as an eighth.
yeah, I think eight sounds pretty standard there. So yeah, for your lettering, I would just go in and add in a little line in between your quarter inch and go with that. Okay.
Where do you suggest the best place if you want to buy, more pencils? And this kit just comes with a 2 millimeter.
Yeah, I think Staples has a pretty good set of pencils. I think that's where I bought this .9 millimeter, and they'll come in a 2-pack or a 3-pack.
Are they still there?
I think Staples.
There's a different Staples now. It's.
Oh, really?
Like right next to the Albertsons.
In,
It's still in that same section, I
In the Northgate Plaza,
Yeah.
like Albertsons, like Pizza Hut.
think. There's a.
California
California.
Metropolis.
Trappers, Albertson?
No, North.
No, it's right off of
Oh,
Reserve and Bowling.
Up there.
Does the bookstore have anything? They don't have any, like,
I would be very surprised if the bookstore didn't have anything. I mean, I know the Missoula College bookstore is not going to have these supplies, but, no, I've shopped over at the bookstore on main campus, and it's pretty well stocked.
art
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure you can find a nice juicy eraser there to get you through the semester too, so.
This does have an eraser.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful with the erasers in the art section.
Little gummy?
Well, a lot of those erasers are only designed to take off like a small layer of graphite at
Oh.
a time.
Okay.
Because drawing, you're supposed to take off like.
Yeah.
Just to lighten it.
Right, yeah, I'm with you, yeah. So, yeah, go for the aggressive eraser. No reason to skimp on that one. Yeah, so I guess the answer to the question, though, if you want to just copy the alphabetical lines, that is 100% fine. What I would also like to see is maybe go in and challenge yourself a little bit and draw something. Could, shoot, I don't know, I'm just trying to look at some kind of everyday object. I mean, you might draw like
How about
the,
flag?
what's that?
Flag? And that-
I would steer away from animate objects. I would go more towards the inanimate, like a blender, can opener, something with a hole in it, and something with a little bit of symmetry. I mean, you might even, that little wind turbine behind us, it's the funky silver one there, it's got a little bit of a curve to it. Yeah, it's got a center line, so you could draw a section of it. And don't worry about the dimensions for now. I mean, make them up. It's not a big deal. Yeah. So, and then I guess what I'd like to do on the assignment, turn it in by hand, but I guess I'm just in the digital age, I would also like it if you take a picture of it with your phone, or scan it. If you don't have a scanner, that's fine, I'll just have somebody scan all of them for us, but I actually would like to have a digital archive of the course. So let's, if you can get me a copy here, all you got to do is turn it in. And so, yeah, this is a week 2 assignment, and it's due in 5 days. So yeah, just get it in by before class starts on Tuesday, and you're all set. So that's the alphabet lines, and yeah, Pat, I think you're ahead of the game on that one. Okay, so title block. This is assignment 4, and let's just take a look at it. Let's just take a look at it. I'm going to see if I can't download this guy. Actually, I'm going to dive into the textbook. I got to have a better version of that. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think there's there's a drawing that, relatively simple, that if you wanted to turn that in, it doesn't have a, well, it does. It's got a section line right there. Section AA, and that would be a reasonable drawing to turn in. And if you wanted to say, hey, I'm gonna put in one of those chains, and then shoot, I don't know, maybe buff it out a little bit and put in a stitch or something. Say I'm gonna make a cloth cover for this and stitch it. So that would be a reasonable first drawing to copy too.
Pages.
This is page 4 of the textbook. Here's somebody's done a sketch of a wicked-looking motorcycle. That's a hand sketch, obviously. A lot of French curve used in that one. Here's an actual CAD drawing. And then, at some point, somebody's going to, take those parts and upload them. One thing I just want to mention while I'm talking about parts, then we'll get back into the title block. I found a found some software out there. And just this might be for future reference. It's called eMachine Shop, and it's kind of wild. It's free software, but as soon as you're done drawing your part, you submit it to this company, and they give you quotes to build it. Like, the second you're done drawing it, the quotes are already sitting there. And I think what they're doing with this is they're looking at, well, how big it is, what material it is, how many holes they have to drill in it, how many cuts they have to make in it, how many milling passes. So there's software that will now take your drawing, your idea, and go through all of the machining processes and calculate, step by step. Well, it's this many cents to file this many things, and come back with 3 or 4 quotes. And you just order it. I mean, it's that fast these days. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
Pick material.
Beg your pardon? You pick your material, yeah. And they've got a list of maybe a dozen or so materials. Aluminum, brass, steel. I think if you wanted something cast, they might be able to do that for you. Plastic, and if you need 1 million injection molded plastic parts, they'll quote you on that too. It's kind of wild. So the software's free, which makes sense because they want you to draw in their format so they can understand it. But, anyway, something to think about down the road. If you've finished all of your homework and are debating whether to watch to binge watch Friends or do some drafting, I recommend the latter. So, what's that? Speeds, reach speeds. Okay. Ideas without words. All right, let's see if we can't get down into the title block. Oh, so I said, draw your blender. Might be fun. And here's the poor guy out on the job site going, where was that bolt, screw, what was the tolerance? Okay. Also pretty important, this portion too. So you've identified a problem, right? You need better wheels, you need a new car, you're gonna draw one. This goes back and forth a bunch. Decision process, design selection, there's your KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid, right? Everyone's heard that before. Refine it, make it simpler. Analysis, I hope I didn't make it too simple, it's still got to work. Implementation, you're going to go out and build it, and then you're going to write down, well, how well did it work? And then back to the drawing board, right? Literally. So, okay, I'm just going to kind of blowing through this on my way to the title block.
I don't know if it's gonna have it on there or not. There's,
Oh, really?
on the inside cover,
Oh, really? Okay, well,
I don't know if this is page 49. You're looking for on that.
oh, really?
Okay, it's one of the appendixes.
There's one right there.
What, chapter 2?
It's chapter 2.
Okay, page 49? Okay, we'll be there soon. Thanks a lot, perfect, perfect. So I'm just breezing through this on our way to chapter 49. This is my own speed reading. This is, well, this is where we'll be eventually, where you're actually designing something that gets built, final product, sold. So really, the draftsman is, well, the poor draftsman isn't even really mentioned here, but the draftsman is sitting between marketing that knows what it's supposed to look like and engineering that has to make sure, well, it's not gonna break. Well, and then I think the draftsman sits here too. The draftsman sits between the engineer, who's like, well, make this a little bigger, a little smaller, tolerance, et cetera. Then it goes to manufacturing. So actually, the drafts person is sitting here and here in this whole process. Okay. Yeah. Oh, computer-aided manufacturing. The 3D printed gizmo that I showed you, this is an example of computer-aided manufacturing. Like this really never existed on paper. It went from CAD right to CAM. Computer more or less told a machine how to build that. Computer-aided engineering, a little different. We're not going to get into that. That's basically making sure when you put your wheels on your car, they don't bump into the frame. Kinematic analysis. We're not going to need to worry about that too much. Six Sigma. Different people have their own interpretation of that, but it just basically means you're so perfect that you never make any mistakes. Okay. All right. Well, let's. Yeah. I'll let you
You're
guys.
just supposed to draw out the title block and then fill it in with fake stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I will be there shortly. Don't select this as your first drawing. We'll get there eventually. Yeah.
Does that be a final project?
You could do the Mars rover as your final project, sure.
Oh, no,
No.
I read the last one.
Oh, maybe. I mean, what is this guy? What is this thing? Is it a air cylinder? It might be some kind of compressor. Yeah. This might be some kind of compressor. I'm not sure, but yeah, if you've got a new compressor design, that would be that'd be fun. I was just, as I said, I was just on the train recently, and I met a guy who that's what he does for a living. Yeah. Oh, and guys, we only have till 5:30, don't we? So yeah, let me skip through this, and we'll just look at the title block. Page 49, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look. And there's not any one standard title block. I think what we're going to see here is is sort of a minimal kind of bare bones. Let's just get to it right here, page 49. There we go. Okay. So yeah, so what I would like you to do for this assignment 4, if you will, is just make a few of these. Just become familiar with them. Each one is going to be a little bit different. And yeah, absolutely, make something up. No, it doesn't matter what kind of paper. I think what you might, like right now, I think it's going to be pretty rare that you're going to have to write your own, like, you're never gonna have to write your own text in here, but for now, just do it. And I think another thing that you should really not be too afraid of is wasting paper. And I just remember being in school where everyone's like, oh, I gotta save paper and write really small. Use all the paper you want, and feel free to make mistakes, and make this thing as big or as small as you like, but play around with different styles. I do have all of the drawings for the new Missoula College building. We'll bring those in and look at them as well, so you'll sort of see what the pros are dealing with. But yeah, this is your assignment 4 right here. Is just draw a few different sizes. That is due Tuesday as well. Yep, sure is. Yeah. And and for now, what I'm going to ask you to do is, write this in. If you want, I mean, you can also just, pop out into something like PowerPoint, and you can sort of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, if you will. I mean, I use PowerPoint, gosh, almost too much, but, you could come in here and just start putting in some shapes. Format shape. This might be kind of fun to mix some media. No fill. Here's your line. Make it black. And if you've got a Windows machine, this will be free. And then you could come in here and start just copy paste. Boom. Copy paste. Boom. I don't know. I'm just kind of making this up, obviously, but you could very quickly make your own title block. And I'm not being very exact. I'm just showing you how easy it is in a software like PowerPoint to make something like this up. And then you can go in, insert your text box. Text box. Print something out, and then you can use your lettering skills to fill it in. So pop something like that out, and then then you've killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You've got your lettering, and you could even, gosh, I think there's even a way in PowerPoint to put a grid in. Let's see here, GRID. Sure. I'm almost positive you can print in the library, right?
You can, it's 10 cents a page.
10 cents a page, so there's a dime, maybe do 3 or 4 of these, or, if you've got a full 8.5 sheet, you could put several of these text boxes on, and there's a dime's worth of exercise. So yeah, I know the library has one. So view, grid lines, boom, view, grid lines. There's that. There's probably even a way to adjust the size of the grid lines. So anyway, so is that enough to get you going? Super. So bring, like I said, if you just want to do hard copies and bring them in Tuesday, that's fine. I also recommend, I'm not going to require it. I mean, I would just like to have some examples of students' work. So take a picture of it, upload it to the website, and again, it's just drag and drop, like I showed you. And we'll see you Tuesday. And also, I will let you know when those drafting kits are in. So start bugging me on Monday, and I'll let you know if they're in yet or not. So thanks a lot.